Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Maria. If you watch this video and you enjoy it, don't be shy, hit the like button and subscribe to my channel for any future videos on narcissistic abuse recovery and complex post-traumatic stress disorder. Today I want to start a series on triangulation. So let's start this off today and talking about, am I the scapegoat in my family and how do I know? Okay guys, so if you haven't yet, check out my first video on triangulation, okay? I will put a link to it above. So this kind of explains to you what triangulation is and what roles different siblings play in the game of triangulation. But we'll go over it really quick right here. All right, so when we have this triangle of triangulation, we think of it like this. We have three different types of siblings. So the common denominator is the narcissistic parent, okay? So you have the narcissistic parent in the middle. Around them, you have three kinds of siblings. You have a golden child. The golden child can do no wrong by the narcissist. The reason the narcissist likes the golden child so much is because, I don't know, maybe they've won a lot of awards, maybe they make a lot of money, maybe they have a good business, maybe they're successful, right? There's somebody that the narcissist can say, that is my son or that is my daughter, and I am a good person because look at how I've raised them. I am successful because of look at how I raised them and look at what they're doing. So the golden child's successes become the bragging rights of the narcissistic parent. Okay, so the narcissistic parent isn't necessarily looking at the golden child like, you are an amazing individual. You alone have accomplished all of these things. No, it's more like, you're amazing because of how you make me look. Okay? So remember, narcissists are constantly filling themselves with narcissistic supply. So this is what the golden child is used for, all right? So they're treated better than the other siblings. So along the other line, the opposite end of the triangle, we have the scapegoat. So the scapegoat is someone that maybe has a quality that the narcissistic parent wishes that they had, but they don't. So maybe they're very well liked. You know, I don't know what it could be. Maybe, you know, whatever, they have a lot of empathy in most cases. All right, so this is something that the narcissist does not have empathy, all right? So they would be looking at the scapegoat. The scapegoat is not easily manipulated. A lot of scapegoats are empaths, okay? They're very aware of other people's feelings, okay? So they're not easily manipulated. Okay, whereas the golden child is easily manipulated by the narcissistic parent, right? So you have the scapegoat. The scapegoat gets the brunt end of the deal. They get all the harsh treatment. They are treated as if they're not as good. They're not worthy. They're never going to get a good job. They're, just the bottom end of the totem pole when it comes to children, okay? So then the other child in triangulation is called the invisible child. And the invisible child does not get the attention. They're not manipulated in the way in which the golden child is, and they're not shunned as much as the scapegoat child, but they're stripped of attention. And, you know, when you're growing up and your parent does not give you the attention that you deserve as a child and as a teenager, you start thinking that it's your fault and there's something wrong with you. And a lot of times the scapegoat will also feel like this. You know, when you go through emotional abuse for long enough, you start thinking that things are your fault. You know, there has to be something hardwired. There's something wrong with me internally, because why would my parent, who is my caretaker, who is my provider, who is my protector, be treating me like this if there weren't something wrong with me? But the crazy part about it is, in triangulation and when we're dealing with narcissists, we are in Alice in Wonderland, in like upside down world, like it's opposite day every day. So nothing is really going to make much sense because we have somebody who is so emotionally manipulative in control of the entire family unit. All right, so let's get into 5 different ways that you can know whether or not you are the scapegoat of your family. All right, so let's start off by number 1. Do you have the deep-rooted feeling that there is something wrong with you? And when I say that, I mean, maybe you have gone to psychologists, to psychiatrists, maybe you have been diagnosed with different things like bipolar disorder, anxiety disorders, personality disorders, I don't know what it is, but you're constantly searching for what it is that's wrong with you. There has to be something wrong with you, right? And have you had doctors or, like your therapist say to you, there's nothing wrong with you, or we can't figure this out, or maybe they've diagnosed you with something that you really don't resonate. Like it's not even, you don't feel like that's something that you have. But maybe you start researching complex post-traumatic stress disorder, CPTSD, and that is something that you feel like you have. The vicious inner critic, the toxic shame, the self-abandonment, okay? The social anxiety. Does this emotional flashbacks, does this sound familiar to you? But in your mind, you just keep trying to figure out what is wrong with me. It's this deep-seated feeling. And if you are a scapegoat of a family, then you know what I'm talking about. So that is number 1. If you are a scapegoat of a family, do you feel like there is something wrong with you? That may be a sign right there. The second sign that you may be the scapegoat of your family is, does anyone reach out to you? I don't know how many siblings you have, but do you notice that they don't reach out to you? And if they do, it's just a very surface level conversation. They never ask you, are you okay? Is there something going on? Why don't you talk to anyone in the family? Why do you isolate? Why did you move away? They never actually come to you with the hard questions, the questions that would provoke emotion, right? Because you are the scapegoat of the family. You have now been triangulated. A part of triangulation is the isolation. You are that bottom part of the triangle that has been isolated. So is your family, do your siblings reach out to you or not? Number 3 sign you may be the scapegoat of your family. Do you have a core wound of abandonment? Do you have a fear of abandonment? Do you notice that you either get into relationships and you're really clingy because you fear that the other person's gonna leave, or that you wanna leave the other person first because you don't wanna feel the pain of if they leave you? Do you have a fear of abandonment? Because a lot of times scapegoats of families of triangulation develop a fear of abandonment that is very deep rooted. The fear of abandonment can be so deep rooted that it is intertwined in our nervous systems at some points. It creates anxiety. It actually creates a feeling of, that feeling of when you try to speak, but the words won't come out. Like it legitimately gets stuck in your nervous system. And this is a sign that you may be the scapegoat of your family, even if you are an adult right now. The 4th sign that you may be a scapegoat of your family is, do you crave protection? Do you feel like you have not been protected? Do you get into dangerous situations? Okay? How do you protect yourself? Do you protect yourself by doing what I mentioned before and by leaving first in relationships so that you don't get hurt? Like, do you crave protection even if it comes from other toxic people? Did you feel like your caretakers or your parents didn't protect you? Did your narcissistic parent not protect you from the abusive golden child that then turned into a narcissist? Most scapegoats will grow up into adults that crave protection. It seems to be this root cause of a lot of toxic relationships that we get into after, we get older and we become adults. And the last and final sign that you may have been a scapegoat growing up in a family of triangulation, you get into narcissistic relationships. So many of us who were scapegoats in our families grow up and we get into these relationships with people who are yet again emotionally unavailable. They don't talk about emotions. They basically sweep everything under the rug. Maybe they have narcissistic rage. Maybe they shame us, whatever it is. At first, they love bombed us, right? They gave us that feeling of protection. They gave us that love and these warm feelings to begin with until we get into what we know as trauma bonds. So they did something really mean to us, or they had narcissistic rage, or they got angry with us, and then they love bombed us. And then they did something really terrible and they gaslighted us and confused us, and then they love bombed us. And we got into these toxic relationships with individuals merely because they were familiar to us. This may be a sign that you are the scapegoat of your family. All right, guys, and I want to leave this video with you right here. Don't beat yourself up because you are a scapegoat of the family. Rather, have compassion for yourself. You're probably this amazing individual that the narcissist wasn't. You have this empathy. A lot of you are empaths. Okay, so you can pick up and feel other people's feelings. You know these are dangerous people and that you shouldn't be around them. Being no contact is a good idea, but just know that there is nothing wrong with you. Okay? These are outside voices that have told you things that you have attached to your identity and you believed them to be true because you didn't know any better. After we go through these patterns so much, this is emotional abuse, long-term emotional abuse. It causes complex post-traumatic stress disorder. The trauma is not in the incidents that happened. It's the way in which we believe them, what that means about us. It changes the way we look at ourselves. We attach these negative things that other people are doing and saying and making us feel to our own identities, and we're believing that that's who we are as people, and it's not. Okay, so in that case, please have compassion for yourself. If you have any suggestions for any other videos you want to see in this triangulation series, please put them below. I will make videos, about whatever it is that you need to understand. This is such a hard, this is a hard case to crack. Triangulation is terrible, and narcissistic abuse makes absolutely no sense to people who have empathy. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, don't be shy, hit the like button and subscribe to my channel for any future videos on narcissistic abuse recovery and complex post-traumatic stress disorder. And as always, I wish you all the love in the world.